What is self-worth and where does it come from?
Oh gosh, self-worth is, I think, the value that we apply to ourselves is that, and in the entirety of who we are, really, both all the different parts of ourselves that we outwardly show, but also the stripped back, deep, dark depths, the bones of who we are. How much value do we apply to who we are as a person, regardless of what we do or how much we produce? How valuable do we feel we are? That's what that's what I think it is. And actually the answer to that question dictates so much. Dictates how we treat ourselves, the habits and the behaviors. It dictates what that inner dialogue sounds like. It dictates where we place our boundaries, um, how we speak out, whether we speak out, how we want people to love us, and what relationships look like to us, things that we reach for and dream of. It's just so fundamental. Yeah.
Yeah. And what you said there was it's not to do with what our output is, what
Mm.
we achieve, what we do physically in terms of what we can kind of quantify. It's that stripped backness, which is quite a frightening thought then of what you sit with when you've not done anything, you've nothing to show or
Mm.
produce for the day. It's who you are in just being.
Yeah. Yeah. What if you just had a day where you did absolutely nothing, or if you were unwell and you had a sick day, like the old school sick day, not the current modern sick day where we just work sick from a more reclined position. We try and scrape through and scrape by and show that we're still showing up into the world. But if you were to have a day or a period where you just did little to nothing, would you still believe you were deserving of kindness and care and love and nurturing? Or would you feel like you weren't deserving of those things because ultimately you have to earn those things somehow?
And I guess everybody has self-worth. It's just what worth you put against it.
Mm.
So when we have really low self-worth, i.e., meaning we don't really feel worthy of X, Y, or Z, what actually happens? What's the consequence of this?
So many things. It might mean, and I can think about this in my own life because my sense of self-worth has been all over the shop. And when I have felt just not good, like I am not a lovable person, I am not deserving, I just feel inherently just like I need to be more, like in and of myself. I'm not enough to be loved. I have to. So it might look like people pleasing. It might look like just overriding the limits of your resources to please other people to earn your way to acceptance. It might look like trying to overachieve. If I do everything at 100%, then maybe I'll feel deserving of the good things in my life. It might look like you're in a situation that you love, with people that you love, but actually you can't really access that feeling of like, oh, this is where I'm meant to be right now. I deserve this. This is, yeah, these are the good things in my life, and being able to absorb them. Sometimes it can feel like you're kind of almost observing from the outside. It might feel like you find it really hard to do things that are nourishing and nurturing for you. Maybe you're sabotaging your own sleep. Maybe you're binging on things that just don't make you feel good. Maybe you're feeling low and you've got friends who care about you, but you just find it really hard to talk to them when you're in that place. So it might be boundaries. Actually just finding it so hard to hold a boundary in case you disappoint or upset someone. So your needs and your voice and your values, you just let them be overlooked. You just swallow them down and you just want to make yourself pleasing to people around you because ultimately you don't feel that pleasing to yourself. So it gets into everything. Low self-worth, low self-esteem. And the way that I describe it in my book, Know Your Worth, because it was all about self-worth and self-esteem, is that your worth, your value is not up for debate. You have value from the moment you are born to well beyond when you die, and the impressions that you leave on people. That is an attached price. You have value, end of story. Your self-esteem is your relationship to that. It's how much you can access that. It's how you live that out in your life. It's your understanding of that value. And that's, we can never change our value. It's fixed, but we can change our understanding of it. And that's amazing. That's what we do
Absolutely.
in therapy as well.
So there's kind of several stages, I guess. You can channel through life and trundle along and then realize, hold on, I'm putting no worth on myself, on who I am
Mm,
in being. And then there can be, okay, now I'm going to do something about that. So therefore they might come to you and say, Anna, help me. I have no self-worth. I've realized this,
mm,
but I really don't know how to change this inner dialogue, this voice that's saying I'm not good enough for this reason unless I do this thing or these things, or unless I do this massive thing that seems so unachievable that it really just has
mm.
other problems because you've got overwhelm, you've got anxiety and everything coming in from that. Where do you start with that? What's your advice to them?
Yeah, so people often come to me, and this is the place I got to as well, is like we have all these little rock bottoms where we start realizing the cost of living as if you need to earn that sense of worth. And it might look like burnout. It might look like you've given and given and given and given beyond the limits of your resources. You feel like you've given yourself away like wedges of cake and you've got crumbs. And that's it. That's all you've got left of yourself is just the dregs. And you don't feel joy. You don't feel that joyful because we need to feel resourced to feel joy. Even I think this is what the thing is with people pleasing, for example, and when we're trying to kind of earn our way to acceptance, it feels really altruistic. It feels like a nice character trait, right? I like pleasing people. What's wrong with that? But actually, often what we find is that people pleasing is so fear based. It is love. It's fear dressed up in love. It's fear dressed up in love. It looks nice on the outside, but often there's a cost, and that cost can be overwhelm. It can be that you fill your diary up with things that other people want you to do without a question as to have you got the energy to actually do those things. It might mean saying yes to people. It might mean caring for so many people, being that go-to, but actually you feel like a burden if you've ever got something you need to talk about. It might mean that actually you don't pursue things that excite you because you just don't have anything left at the end of the day. You don't have the energy, the capacity. And it might look like anxiety because if I think this is so important to realize we need something of ourselves left over to have joy. We need to feel safe in our bodies and in who we are to be able to tap into the good things around us, right? Because if we are frazzled and burnt out from giving ourselves away to earn acceptance and a sense of worth, we can't rationalize anxious thoughts as well. You know, because that takes energy. We can't rest as well. Because funnily enough, you have to have a little bit of resource to be able to rest well. Otherwise, you're just in fight or flight, you're just frazzled. And that doesn't really find us giving way to rest that easily. We have to have resource and rest to laugh. I don't know about you, but if I'm frazzled, I have no sense of humor at all. Like we need energy to be able to enjoy our lives. And I think when we are desperately trying to earn our way to feeling acceptable, not only to the world and the people around us, but to ourselves, then often we don't have enough of ourselves left. People often come to me because they say, I don't know who I am anymore. I don't actually know what I want. I don't actually know what I need or feel or fear or, just because they've been spent so much of their lives kind of accommodating other people's needs and wants and making space for their thoughts and opinions that they've kind of lost the language to express and access their own.